Just to give you a brief history of San Ignacio and Santa Elena, the twin towns in Cayo District. The historical aspect or information of it, which is starting with San Ignacio on the opposite side of the Macal, has always been known as the economical and financial giant of this region. And the tongue hall right there for the twin tongue is where my fingertip is blotting out, and it travels and goes across up towards the Cajalpech region, which is a Mayan site as well. So San Ignacio have always been an economical might. And then you have Santa Elena, which is all this right here, and what separates and divides them is the Macal River that's coming from the Maya Mountains that brings industrial might. Santa Elena is known to be the industrial spot. The aspect of it were the laborers and the power and the brilliance of how to get the task accomplished and done. So that's what is the might of this metropolitan as it rise and bring itself into the future. As the two separate parts merge into one, that's what gives it the strength and the heart, the power of this beautiful twin town. So currently I'm standing in a section of this area known as Red Creek and Hat Point. You have the Three Flags store right here. That's where it starts coming across the street, and then as I turn and proceed in this direction, you're going towards Esperanza, and this area here is known as Red Creek / Hat Point. And back in the day we only had one light pole, one street light, and that would be like 30 years ago, and the landscape looks nothing like what it did back then. So this young lady is in front of Gentle, and then just beyond that where she was is Requena, and the Requena family had property on both sides. Then you come down to Vera, then Mr. Asueta, and don't hold me to that. Mr. Asueta might not be his name or last name. That might have been his pet name, and he was a mechanic back in the day. Then you have over here would be an area known as the Hyde family. Might have also had, I think, a trap, if I'm not mistaken. One of the Trap family might have had a piece of this. It might be where that red truck is. So this is what makes the twin town tick, is the mighty Macal, which merge with the Mopan, and both of them becomes the Belize Old River that flows out and empty into the Caribbean Sea. And these two rivers, mighty rivers, merge roughly somewhere around here off in the distance, and that area more than likely is known as Branch Mouth. Branch Mouth, somewhere around here, where those two rivers merges and become one. And then it goes beyond the distance to Benque Viejo, which runs along, the road runs along the Mopan that goes up into Guatemala. Benqueviejo and Melchor is the connecting point between Belize and Guatemala. So there you have it. A brief history of this place as it's rising out into the landscape. So you have where the Uno gas station, that was one family right here. Then prior to that there was just one other house. So we're looking at basically 30 years, 35 years. Then from that point on all the way down to here, there was nothing but darkness. That was just a void back in the day. So there was no street light there. I'm trying to remember the family the last family that's down there, the last house, but the name for some reason is eluding my mind. But just to give you a small glance and touch, and as you watch Empower videos, you will see different areas that I've already captured stuff about the growth and development of this beautiful region. And bear with me, I apologize for not being able to make it up north as have been requested, but I'm going to be up there pretty soon as well. So just to mention a few families, you have the Vera, Requena, Hyde, Contreras, I feel, and these are a few of them are like traditional, like the I feel. A few of the other families, they're like traditional. They've been here for a long time. I would say what, more than 70 years. And it's awesome to see the transformation of the place and how the landscape is changing. Morning. Because now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. More than 8 light poles, and back in the day we only had 1, and I was between the age of say 7.5 to about 10. We had 1 light pole back then, and now there's so much more. When I say light pole, it's street lights for your viewing pleasure. Then I do believe you have the Flowers, and then another family that's been Gordon, that's been here for a long time as well. And that will be from this fence, basically this fence all the way down to that fence down there where you can see the section that's green that my finger is blotting out. And look how it slowly has grown and developed. It's awesome too how you can hear the birds. Seems like there's a slight change in the landscape of the birds migrating back into this area, because we used to have a lot of birds back in the day as well. And there's a specific name for the subdivision that's back there as well. And that's how long I've been gone and absent. I don't even know it. I'm like a tourist in my own community. Welcome to Cayo District, Belize, Central America. There's 3 Maya ruins that you can experience in this area. You have cave tubing and canoeing. You also have horseback riding, zip line. You have 3 nightlife location that you can come and have, a grand old time. You have horseback riding. You have canoeing on tubing on the river, which would be the Makal. Canoeing too as well. You have birding. It's known for having a lot of birds as well. Those are bananas or plantain trees in the distance.